We begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land upon which this podcast was recorded, the Gundungurra people. We like to pay respect to elders past, present, and emerging.
Hey there, Leo. It's me, Matthew, and I have a confession to make. When we were in Australia, I did not beat people to the further, faster mega sale. Mega sale. If the best independently owned outdoor store in the known universe put on the best sale in the known universe, and it's on between 16 to the 31st of May, holy moly, they have the most insane specials both in store and online. Go check it out. It's making something epic, infinitely more epic. Head over to 57A Buchan Street, Sydenham, Ōtautahi, Christchurch, or hit them up at furtherfaster.co.nz. That's all.
It goes something like further, faster, there in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to further, faster now.
Oh, further, faster, there in Christchurch. Rocky is hairy and so is Badger. Jules is nice and Jacob is delicious. Go to further, faster now.
Church Radio.
Kia ora koutou and welcome to episode 326 of the Dirt Church Radio Trail and Ultra Running Podcast. I am Matt Raymond and I am absolutely fracked. Got home 1:30 this morning, back to work, up at like 5, back to work, all good. Been having the most amazing experience in the Blue Mountains with co-host Ali Pottinger and also our mates, our new best friends, Nicole Bunyan, Joy McClimate, also Martin Gaffari and Disco Dave Stewart as part of the commentary team at Ultra Trail Australia, or the Hoka Ultra Trail Australia by UTMB, if we're being formal. And this is just a little preamble. Andrew is sick, Ali is in Australia and is sick, and I'm probably going to get sick, but we had the most incredible time at one of the most incredible experiences that I've ever had in terms of being part of the running community. Holy moly. And what we're going to bring to you today is something really special. We did 2 live shows. One on one day, one on another day. One with the 22K and 100-mile athletes, and then the next day we did one with the 100K athletes and the 50K athletes. So you're going to hear from Vlad Shatrov, you're going to hear from Kellie Angel in the 100-mile, you're going to hear from Ben Duffus and Sara Levett in the 22K. Then we're going to have a little break, and I did what I normally do, which is go for a run. I ran from the start to Fairmont during the 50K. I jumped on board with the sweeps, and you're going to hear my conversation with Jane Trumper, who is the manager of the sweeps, just absolute legend, and the most indispensable part of that whole event, because they literally keep people safe, keep people alive. Then you're going to hear me speak with Mick Marshall, who has an incredible story, and I wish it was a visual medium, because when I was having this conversation with this gentleman who was running on crutches, we were going down Glen Raphael Drive, and it was the most spectacular scene with the sunshine and the literally running above the clouds. Cute little interlude with a father and daughter as well, which was pretty awesome during the 50K. Then we're going to bring you part 2 of our live show, which was the next day when Ali and I spoke to some incredible athletes in the 100K and the 50K. So in the 50K, we spoke to Dan Jones and Caitlin Fielder. And then in the 100K, we spoke to George Murray and Beth McKenzie. Now, I ain't going to spoil it, but fantastic chats. So why don't we there's no greatest run ever this week because it's just 2 heckers, but this is a extra special live episode, and super stoked to bring it to you. So let's get into it. Kia ora koutou, everyone. Welcome to the first of our 2025 Hoka Ultra Trail Australia Dirt Church Radio live shows.
I am Ali Pottinger.
And I'm Matt Raymond. Ali, how good is it to be back in the Blue Mountains?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it's about 100. Good.
100 million. Yeah, that's right.
What do you reckon?
No, I'm the same. Super stoked to kick off the UTA 11 today and be at the start line and see everyone, get that kind of party started. But that's not why we are here. Why don't you take us through it?
Yeah, this is the first of our 2 live shows this weekend. We'll be in the same spot tomorrow between 12 and 1, chatting with some of the guns in the 50K and the 100K events.
But first, what we'll be doing today is we'll be speaking to some of the athletes who are taking on the 100 mile and the 22K events. So let's get the show on the road, or more appropriately, the trail.
So first up, we'd like to welcome to the stage a stalwart of the Australian trail running scene. That makes you sound old. With multiple wins under his belt, including the Brisbane 100 mile and Tarawera miler. He's returning champion from Dirt Church Radio, and tomorrow he's running the UTA miler. Please put your hands together for Vlad Shatrov.
Come on, that was a golf clap. Let's give a big hand to this.
Yeah, Vlad.
Hey, Vlad, it's so nice to see you again. Thanks for joining us. How are you feeling about tomorrow?
Yeah, I feel really good. So it's probably the best I've felt. I think it's the best I've felt for a race in many years, actually. So I'm really looking forward to just running. And in terms of UTA prep, it's been a few years since I've come to UTA, with UTA being an A race goal, at least 5 years. So I'm ready for whatever that course throws at us tomorrow.
So what was the motivation for making this, the UTA miler, your A race?
There's a few things, probably 2. Obviously, the first thing is the major, right? So when everyone said, there's going to be a new race in Katoomba and it's a miler, I was like, well, actually, I did the 50K in the first year, and that was pretty special in 2013, and I won that. So I was like, well, it'd be really cool to come and do the miler and do well, and it's a major. And I kind of changed my whole year around, because if you go top 10 in the miler or win your age group tomorrow, then you get an automatic ticket into UTMB. And I've kind of decided that, yeah, you know what, it's probably about time I went and did UTMB. So I'd like to go there and do that next year if I get in.
Cool. It's a great spot to go for a run.
Yeah, I've never been. I did race triathlon in France for 6 months a while ago when I was a triathlete, but to go back and run it as a trail runner, that'd be special.
Well, it's it's the pinnacle, isn't it, of the hugeness of the event.
Yeah, and when you race overseas, it's like it's another level of difficulty and then reward and experience as well. So, yeah, that'll be hard. But, yeah, I think going over there and doing well with some of the best runners in the world, I think that'd just be an amazing achievement, something that I just need to do while I still can.
Amazing. Look, we were speaking off mic before. It's clear you're a professional athlete, you're performance-driven, and we've seen you pull the pin on some events to avoid injury or when you've been feeling under the weather, and the day hasn't gone your way.
Which is the way of the elite, right? Like, you're really kind of riding that line when you're racing. And at Cozzy, we saw you doing that. And we were just starting to talk about it actually off mic before we came on here. And we saw you really racing at the start, and then it ended up being a bit of a grind out to finish it in some pretty tough conditions. How important was that finish to you?
Kosciuszko, actually, no one really knows about this, but I actually spent some time in a cupboard at some abandoned ski chalet with hypothermia at about 100 and, I don't know, Cheryl, it was like deep into the race just when we got hit by rain before we got to Charlotte's Pass. And I was running with Brendy, who was pacing me, and I'd had a really bad day. So obviously, first 50Ks was good. I'd gone into the race with a sore back. I actually couldn't even run the day before the race without pain. Like, every time I hit the ground, I had a throbbing pain in my lower back. It's something that I've had a couple of times, but you just go. Like, I just went with it on the day and hoped that it would ease off, but it didn't. And so from about 50 Ks, I was like, look, all my crew's there. I've had a few bad races. I've just got to do this no matter what it takes. And the poor guys had to stay with me all night, and it was really cold. And I collapsed into like that cupboard. We found like where people put their snowboards and skis and stuff because I was so cold, I was shaking. I fell into that. Brendy stripped off all my clothes, dried myself, wrapped up in 2 foil blankets, and then they brought my car back because it was because I did get outside assistance, but only because like I was close to fucking dying. And then they wrapped me up, got me warm, and then I ran the 3Ks in the Charlotte's Pass, stayed there for about 45 minutes an hour in front of the heaters.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it, you know what, we're going to go and do this. And then the next 10 hours is history. We just ran through the rest of the night, and I finished in the morning. Took 26 hours or something. I've never run for that long in my life. And I was just happy to finish, because it meant so much to me.
And, I mean, saying like another 10 hours, that's kind of giving you more of a more mid-pack, back-of-pack kind of perspective. What was it like to be out there for a bit longer? Like, what do you now think about those people in that part of the pack?
Oh, it's amazing what people go through for that amount of time. It's so different when you're running slower and walking and going into these aid stations during the middle of a night where there's hardly anyone there. Mm-hmm. And seeing the pain and the perseverance of people and what they go through. And also just being like a normal person, not an athlete, was great, and you just get to speak to people and share the journey. And it's very impressive what people do. And there's going to be people tomorrow. I think the cutoff is 40 hours for the miler.
44 and a half.
So can you imagine, like, there's guys running for 44 hours for almost 2 days, and we start at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So, some of these people, when they come across the finish line on Saturday, it's going to be incredible to see them.
Yeah. What lessons will you I mean, my favourite performance of yours thus far. That was incredible. Like, and you made the point. You said like normal people. I guess they're all athletes, right? It's but not at that elite level. But what will you take forward tomorrow into the UTMB miler? Any lessons from Kosciuszko?
I mean, it just shows you what you can do if you just keep moving. That's the main thing. And so, like, we can all finish the race tomorrow if you just give yourself a chance. Unfortunately, like, because I did have that kind of injury, it was a little bit of a different thing, but it was just so good to reinforce that, you still get so much out of it if you finish, even if you're not going to achieve what you wanted to achieve when you set foot on that start line. So, I'm extremely determined to run well tomorrow, and I'm just going to have to bide my time, I think. I mean, I've been watching all these podcasts that have been released over the last couple of days, and everyone's talking about, the first 60 Ks of this miler course. It is brutal. I've run it twice, most of it, and it'll really be like trying to get through that 60 Ks. And I think when I get to the Hydro Majestic at about 45 kilometres tomorrow, it'll be a huge sense of relief, because from that point, that you've got like 8K trail road down to here, and then we've got 10Ks narrowing. So it's runnable for the next 40 Ks, except for Iron Pot. But yeah, it'll be that first bit that you just got to hold and sit and just get through it.
You've got a lot of experience behind you. What advice would you give to anyone else towing that start line tomorrow?
Just let small things build up into big problems. When something starts to bother you, jump on it straight away. Be that gear or nutrition. And you always come out of a bad patch. It doesn't matter. Everyone has a bad patch in a miler or 100K. You can't feel good the whole time. Like you're putting yourself under extreme pressure, physical exertion, and there's going to be a point where you feel flat. Just make sure you do something about it at that point. Like I take a couple of extra gels or something, slow down, and it just comes good. Allow yourself to drift a bit in your mind to like what you are achieving and use that as a motivator, but then really quickly bring yourself back to, I've just got to get to that next checkpoint, and checkpoint to checkpoint, and you'll get there.
Don't fear the cupboard.
Don't ever get in the cupboard.
Or get in the cupboard, because you finished.
Get in the cupboard if you need to.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have to. But it'll be a race, so don't forget, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Well, look, Vlad, we know that you got a big day ahead of you tomorrow. Go rest up. But look, please, everyone, put your hands together for Vlad Shatrov.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right, next we'll keep this train moving. So please welcome to the stage an incredible athlete lining up tomorrow in the UTMB Grampians Peak Trail 100-mile champion, top 20 finish at Western States. We'd like to give a big Blue Mountains welcome to Kellie Angel. Kellie, come on up.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Kellie. Thanks for joining us. So you've won UTA 100 before. How did that feel?
Amazing. It was quite a while ago now.
No, surely not. I actually saw the little banner coming up. Did you walk up that way and see your banner there?
I might have taken a photo with the 50 and the 100.
Oh, good.
There's nothing wrong. Put me on a banner. I'll take a photo in front of it. Come on, that's
100%.
amazing. Like, when does that ever get to happen? Look, tomorrow, I mean, Vlad just spoke about it, but the UTA Mile really does up the level of complexity in terms of, or so everyone says. Have you recce'd the first part of the course? What's your approach?
I tried. I came up a few weeks ago for a photo shoot for Hoka, and I thought, great, I'll do my last 5-hour long run on the course, and it resulted in me being rescued.
Oh, no.
The weather, I've become a bit of a fair weather runner in Melbourne. We've had amazing weather, and that weekend up here was horrendous, torrential rain, and I knew that I would have to cross a river at the bottom, and it got 10 times heavier than when I started. And lucky I ran into Maddie O'Donnell, and she was bailing and we agreed that it was too dangerous. So she rescued me and then proceeded to rescue about 4 other people from around the mountain.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm glad that you did get rescued and you're not still out there somewhere.
I know. Sometimes you got to make the call. It was the right one that day.
Good. When it comes to 100 miles, is it just another 60K? Are you going to treat it that way?
No. No, I've been trying to figure out how long it's going to take. I really have no idea. When I won the 100, I think I did it in 11:07. So, if you put that into context, you think that it would hopefully be a sub 20, but I think it's probably going to take more like double. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
With it being a major, does that add any... I mean, you've hit the big stage, top 20 at Western States. With it being a world major, does that add any... either self-imposed pressure or kind of like with Hoka, any kind of a focus to it, or are you treating it like any other race?
Oh, look, I'm treating it like any other race, but it is more, it's naturally more prestigious being a major, and it's, for me, it's exciting being part of the UTMB series and supported by Hoka, and it's really exciting to bring some serious competition to Australia as well, and
Very good. So your day job is an occupational therapist, right? How does that inform your approach to life? Like, you've got a lot on.
Do I?
Oh, come on now.
What do you reckon? Should we go through your list?
I will actually say, so I'll just out myself. I've been married to an occupational therapist for the last 20 years, and when we went through your list of accomplishments, including your PhD and all that sort of stuff, I was like, and then we found out what you did, I was like, oh, she's no T. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, we're trained to be very holistic in everything that we do, and the way that we treat people, and that's what I bring to my coaching and things as well. But yeah, I guess it gives me lots of different interests, and I have my hand in lots of different pies, and I like it that way. It's probably a little bit busy, but it's good fun.
You're a mum with 2 young boys. You have brought them here with you. Is it hard preparing for a race with your family around, or what's your thought about that?
I don't know who I bumped into at the supermarket last night, but I forget that sometimes people recognise me, and I was probably in a bit of a state. And then if I bumped into anyone this morning, probably still in that bit of a state. Look, it is so much harder preparing for a race.
Yeah.
A race like this has so many different logistics involved, and it takes so much to plan and so much mind space to try and get organised, and that's hard at the best of times solo, but when you're trying to look after two little people as well, it's next level, and trying to concentrate on that is really challenging, especially when your husband's running a stall as well.
I saw her, I was like, hey, there's Teagues.
So look, we're really lucky to have lots of friends here helping out. So yeah, hopefully Tegan will get through tomorrow as well with crewing with two little ones in tow.
Takes a village, eh?
It definitely takes a village.
A small, stained village, eh? What? Look, you're involved with the PTRA, Professional Trail Runners Association, another string in your bow. What does that role involve, and what are the positive benefits of having an association of professional trail runners?
Yeah, so I guess I help out with the Women's Equality Group. So the aim of the PTRA, I guess, is to bring any issues to light within the competitive racing field, and make sure that not only elites but all runners are supported and looked after. And within the Women's Equality Group, they've done a lot of different projects in relation to gender equity, I guess, and trying to bring things like pregnancy deferral policies, freezing UTMB index points is the prime discussion that's happening right at the moment for people who fall pregnant, because they do, it really sets them back. If they lose their points, they can't enter the races that they want. So we're looking at strategies and chatting with UTMB and making sure that it doesn't disadvantage women by wanting to have babies. And also another thing is making women visible on the start line. So, in trying to bring up the next generation of female trail runners, it's making ourselves visible, making split start lines for men and women, because it is a different race. And so, if you can't see it, you can't be it. So it's all about trying to promote that.
Yeah, two different races happening at the same time, hey?
Correct.
All right. Kellie, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. We wish you the very best for tomorrow. Everyone, can you please put your hands together for Kellie Angel?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Right, so that's the UTA miler athletes out of the way. Now, seeing this morning's efforts and thinking about tomorrow, the length of an event does not necessarily correspond directly to the level of challenge. We will now turn our attention to the UTA 22, and we'd like to invite to the stage not only a returning Dirt Church Radio champion way back on episode 94, a person who's also run this event multiple times, winning the 22 in 2019 and taking second place last year. Please welcome to the stage the incredible Ben Duffus.
Ben, welcome.
Good to be here.
Hey, how many times have you run this event now?
Oh, I was going through this in the car with my parents. So 2012 DNF'd the 100, 2013 100, 2014 100, 2015 injured, so just came and spectated, 2016 100, 2017 injured again, 2018 100, 2019 22, 2020 was COVID, 2021 was 50 or 100, and then 100, then the 50, then I've done the 22 as well. So there's been, it's an annual pilgrimage at this point.
Have you noticed that you not running 100k in the Blue Mountains every year has corresponded to your level of injury? Are you feeling better?
It's sort of, so things have ebbed and flowed. So, I mean, I was always doing the 100k, and then, yes, the first time that I did the 22, that was due to injury, that I had been originally entered in the 100, had an injury earlier in the year and knew I wouldn't get ready in time, so that was why I ran the 22 originally in 2019. And then since then, it's been just sort of mixing up different focuses. I think once I'd broken that streak, then it was sort of opened myself to the idea of doing the different distances, because I've always been someone who enjoys dabbling in different kind of challenges, because as you sort of said, each distance has its own unique challenge. And I always say I pull up so much sore in the week after the 22 than I do after the 100k, just because of the intensity running down Kadumba.
What keeps you coming back to UTA?
I love the vibe. I love the community around UTA, but also just I really love this part of the world. The Blue Mountains are absolutely beautiful, and I really enjoy these trails. So any excuse to come race here and do it with however many thousand of your friends.
Now, this is my nice way of saying it. You're getting more and more experienced at life.
Thank you.
How do you keep taking it? Like, often people that are in that kind of elite space will kind of go to the longer distances, but you're still keeping it pretty spicy. Like, how do you feel kind of going against these young up-and-comers with these spicy distances?
I like to think of myself as the young up-and-comer.
Sorry.
Back in my day, when I started trail
pre-pandemic.
Running, well, in all seriousness, when I started trail running, I mean, I would have done my first trail race in 2010. Anyone doing it under 30 was pretty unheard of. And so I'm only 32 right now. So in my mind, that means I'm only 2 years into when people actually start trail riding. It just happens that in that time, all these other younger people started coming up. So it's this really weird thing for me around sort of mid to late 20s where I suddenly went from being the youngest person in the field to being seen as this old, experienced person. And so I like to just identify as the young runner.
Well, you're not going to like the next question.
I think you've got a bit of the Lucy effect going on there. Like, you've been around for such a long time that we all just assume you're ancient.
But there is a few athletes in the sport, right? Like there's yourself, there's Lucy Bartholomew, Ryan Montgomery, three that spring to mind, who are late 20s, early 30s, but have just been doing the sport for such a long time. And I guess it speaks to your longevity in the sport, hey?
I mean, I always saw it as a bit of an experiment in that regard because, again, back in my day, when I started, you were pretty forced into doing the ultras right away. Trail running and ultra running were pretty synonymous, at least in Australia. There weren't many other distances on offer, so that was why I was straight to 100K. But you also didn't have many people you could point to who had, like, I ran my first ultra at 19 and I couldn't point to many other people who had done that, and it was, geez, I'll find out when I get into my 30s, am I able to still do this or not? And I think it's been intentional in that yes, my training is high volume relative to the average person, but relative to the average elite, it's nothing ridiculous. It's not 300K weeks or anything like that. And I've always focused on speed as well and always tried to dabble in different distances and not just focus on that one thing, the really, really long races.
On that, I mean, you are known for, like you say, that focus on speed and putting up some pretty punishing workouts. Has your approach to training changed over the years, or you kept it fairly consistent?
I think the general principles remain pretty much the same. The slight details have always ebbed and flowed as you've tried to focus on different weaknesses, different strengths. This last several months, so this year, I mean, I'll be finding out tomorrow really when this is my first time lining up in a competitive mountain race since I moved place at the start of the year and am now living in a bit of a flatter area. And so I have been focusing a bit more on flat speed just out of necessity, that during the week, if I want to do more than a 1 minute rep, it's going to have to involve some flats and just add in some hill strides and then hit the hills more on the weekends and condition the legs that way. So, yeah, life sort of forces it to ebb and flow, but I think the basic principles of training remain relatively similar.
I'm sorry that we're making out like you're ancient, Ben. We know at 32 you're not. But, you know, experience doesn't always correlate with age. And as someone who knows their way around an event like UTA, what would you say to the 55% of first-timers here?
I mean, just enjoy it. Don't go out too hard is always very good advice. I mean, for something like the 22, I'd say big recommendation is you got to make sure you save your legs on the way to getting down to the river, that it's very easy to get a bit overly excited. In the elite field, I always say it's just a bit of a game of chicken for us, really, when we're seeing how fast you can get down to the bottom, but saving your legs, who will come with you, who won't. Yeah, that would be just the big one is, you know, you've got that long climb coming up, save yourself for it. Being 2 minutes quicker to the bottom might mean being 20 minutes slower on the way up.
We don't want that, do we? And as someone who's got a Master's of Education in Sports Coaching, what is one thing that you think the coaching world in today's running context could benefit from?
One thing that the coaching context...
the coaching world could benefit from.
I think just the biggest thing is always taking that long-term approach with athletes. As you mentioned, that longevity has been a big focus for me, and certainly all athletes I work with, even if that is a young athlete or even if they are an older athlete, thinking about, okay, I want you still enjoying running in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, that taking that long-term approach and patience with it all.
Yeah, it's wise advice, and it's hard, I think, in today's world where we want to do all the races.
And also just that endurance is built over years and years of consistent training that we get. It's very easy to get caught up chasing some of the latest and greatest things, and these, once you've been around long enough, like us oldies, you see how things ebb and flow. You see all these cycles of things. I was just having a conversation with someone earlier today about how, for instance, right now we hear all about the high carb revolution. That's everything. But I remember talking to my coach, who was an Olympian in the 80s, and he would say, oh, yeah, we would, before our track session, we'd have half a can of Coke and half a Mars bar. During your session, you'd finish your can of Coke, and at the end, you'd finish your Mars bar. Well, replace that with modern sports products, and that's now considered the latest, greatest science that everyone's pushing. And so these things really don't actually change that much. The general principles stay the same.
Yeah. You've maybe a Mars bar.
That old Mars bar lobby got to you, hey, Ben. But you're right. It's funny, isn't it? Things are cyclical. Look, Ben, it's so nice to speak to you. It's great getting the chance, to chat again. And look, we wish you the best for tomorrow. Happy trails, and look forward to starting you off tomorrow morning out at Queen Vic. But please, everyone, show your appreciation for Mr. Ben Duffus.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
That's awesome. All right. Next up, we would like you to give a big Katoomba welcome up to the stage, current UTA 22 champion and Blue Mountains local, Sara Levett.
Also, I'd like to say an amendment, owner of what appears to be world's coolest dog.
Yeah, that's Taco. Hey, Taco.
Hey, Taco.
Night bark.
And I actually love the shorts too. Those kind of embroidered flowers are pretty cool.
Yeah. Works well.
Look, Sara, you Blue Mountains local. It says in your bio that you like racing anything over 1,000 metres of elevation. Have you ever heard of this thing? It's called sea level. Because I get the feeling you'd be quite good at that.
Sea level? No, I haven't.
Yeah. No, it's closer down by the sea.
Oh, got to check it out. No, I like the mountains. Keep it cold.
You said recently that you didn't envisage having the best running year of your life. What made this year so special?
Yeah, look, we got my husband's there. He's doing the 22 tomorrow. We got 2 young kiddies, 2 and 4 years old. I run because I love it. I enjoy the mountains, hey, Paul. Get out here most days. So I just do it because I love it. And, this year's been amazing in that I'm been able to get some, podiums. But I've run since I was young. So it's just, I want to run when I'm 100. That's the main goal. Maybe try to get a world record at 100. Before then, doesn't matter.
Just warming up.
Yeah, just chilling out now, yeah.
You said that you've run since you were young. What, if you could, it does... The question does hinge on the ability to time travel, so suspend belief for a second. But if you could go back and tell, past you, piece of advice in terms of running, what would that be?
Oh, yeah, it's interesting because post-kids I've actually been a bit more competitive, but I've run over 20 years. Maybe I'd say, I don't know, I did a lot of travel whilst running before and it was just a hobby, whereas now it's probably a bit more competitive. So maybe I would say... do a few more speed sessions and try harder, but I also don't regret my life. I feel like I'm happy with everything I did, and it's cool that it's working how it is now, but I'll tell myself just enjoy, do what you're doing.
It's good advice. So 2 young kids, there is a burden on mums. We know what it's like. Mum life is the best and the most challenging. How do you make training work with the mum life?
Yeah, we're pretty good at daycare drop-off, and then I get them in. We have a really fun morning with them, but then drop them off and do as long a run as I can, and pretty much start work always like as I'm just finishing my run. My work team they know that I come in ready, red-faced. Sometimes with my running gear on. I do mostly virtual stuff because I work remote, so it's pretty good that they're chilled with that. I don't want to do any less parenting, but I do obviously love running, so I try to get it in when they're kind of, at daycare. And sometimes we try to do strength sessions while they're just crawling all over us. That doesn't work that well, but we try. Do what you can,
Exactly.
Look, as a Blue Mountains local, what does it mean to have an event like Ultra Trail Australia in your backyard? What's it like for the local community?
Oh, it's so much. Like even just the local, I'm friends with the local lady at the family supermarket in Wentworth Falls, and she's just stoked this weekend, getting so many people coming in, the local cafes. They had a hard time, well, so did everyone at COVID, but it just makes so much for the community. Like everyone who's even non-runners in the community knows this event's on. Everyone's excited. They're going to be out watching. It's a lovely community up here, especially for running. If you guys want to live somewhere else, come live up here. It's just, there's so many runners, but also just a lot of support for them. All the local cafes and everyone supports it.
I'd move tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask if you're a real estate agent.
No, I work in sustainability. Don't build no more homes, no.
You're sort of in my business.
But it's amazing having, especially it becoming a world major. I personally would love Blue Mountains to be like a running hotspot for the whole world, and races like this make that happen. It's awesome.
What is the most underrated trail in your mind in the Blue Mountains, and why?
Not to blow up your spot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Good question. Oh, some of the miler is covering it. I think there's some good spots around Blackheath. Horse track on Blackheath actually isn't in the miler, but I think I'll say horse track. It's a nice 20k loop in Blackheath. It's rugged, but it's fun.
And you are spoilt for choice in terms of epic running on a weekday, but how does something like UTA compare, or the feel? Does it feel any different in the soul of it? You're out there on the course, the volunteers, from the grassroots events?
Yeah, look, I love the grassroots events. They have their own advantages, but this one is amazing for just bringing running a race where there's sometimes 1,000 around. How many the numbers in all the races are incredible, and even the miler, getting that many people to do a miler, it's a huge logistics probably nightmare for UTMB that they've sorted out really well. So it's really incredible to see trail running just hitting the stage globally how it is, and just seeing that many people out there. And I love hearing all, like you said, the 55% first time finishers. A lot of them have amazing stories, so it is the back of the packers that actually amazing to them for finishing this weekend, because some of them have come a long way. They've never been runners, getting into it, new hobby. I think they're the best stories.
And speaking of stories, it was pretty cool watching the 11K today. There's so many kids, just local kids from really taking it that pointy end out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially the guys. There's about 5 local guys that are all really fast. I feel for them because they're all peaking at the same time. Well, they're only 16. They got many years. But it's there's really quite a lot of fast 16-year-old guys at the moment.
It certainly is. Well, thank you so much, Sara, for coming and spending time with us. We'd like to, again, offer our appreciation to all of our guests, Vlad Shatrov, Kellie Angel, Ben Duffus, and Sara Levett. So put your hands together, please.
Guys, thanks.
So, look, that's part one of the live shows done. Tomorrow at 12, we'll be here speaking to some incredible athletes in the UTA 150, like Lucy Bartholomew, Dan Jones, Caitlin Fielder, Beth McKenzie, and George Murray. So we'll look forward to seeing you there, and we're now going to go pat taco.
Thanks, everyone.
Well, it's the start of the UTA 50. It's a beautiful day, and I am here with the most essential and underrated component of any ultramarathon. Who am I speaking with?
Jane Trumper.
Jane, what is your role at Ultra Trail Australia?
I'm the sweep manager. We just make sure that everyone's on the course and feeling good, making sure they're keeping up with the checkpoint cut-off times, which is pretty much a safety issue, because if someone's not keeping up, we don't know who's in front that might be injured, and basically making sure everyone has a really good time.
The weather is spectacular. It hasn't been worrying, but it's been quite foggy and cloudy for the last... Did you wake up expecting this?
It's a beautiful day today. My feet are very muddy from the last 2 days, but the sun is shining and everyone's smiling.
Howdy, here we go. We're walking up the hill. There's Uncle Dave Kang and Paul. Nice shoes, Uncle. You've got such an important job. What's the most challenging aspect of it?
Being nice to people that really hate you.
And I guess with that, being nice to people that really hate you, you've got a responsibility to, I guess, let things take its course a little bit, hey?
Yeah, you've just got to reason with them and say, your last kilometre took half an hour and you're not going to make it to the next cut-off. We can help you get to the aid station. You can keep moving. Maybe you'll be okay. You may be having a bad patch. And just making sure that, mentally they're as strong as they possibly can be.
Yeah, right. And we've had at UTMB, I mean, the one thing that sticks in my mind was the gentleman who went off the side of the trail.
Yeah, well, I have a fantastic team. Everyone's really good on the radio. We have no heroes. We're all very good at first aid, and we know what to do. We don't put ourselves in danger. But yeah, he was very lucky that he was with the sweeps when he fell, because the whistle is a really important thing. Yeah. And if the whistle was in the back of his pack, he wouldn't have been able to reach it when he was hanging onto a branch of a tree.
And I guess that's the thing, isn't it? When we talk about, oh yes, he went off the back of the trail. I mean, popular.
Go, Amy!
When you went off the back of the trail, you're talking about actually, he was several hundred metres in the air.
Well, he fell off the side of the track, and there was a cliff, and fortunately there were a few trees down there that he landed in. I went back the next day and I really couldn't see much below that. And it looks like a really safe little track. And it was the middle of the night. He was tired. So, he was a very lucky man.
Well, he's lucky to have you guys. Look, this is probably one of the most scenic interviews I've ever done, running up or conversations I've ever had. Why don't you tell us about where we are on the course?
We're at the very beginning. We're going up Cliff Drive. Beautiful narrow neck, beautiful lookouts off to the left. It's such a beautiful day. The clouds down in the valley. Couldn't be better.
And how long, what does your, we're at the back of the 50, back of the 100, what does your day look like?
It's a walk. Anyone can do these things if they're consistently walking at a good pace and don't sit down at checkpoints and, sit there for half an hour. But it's possible to walk the whole thing.
But that's a long day on your feet. Are you local? Is this something that you, outside of sweeping, are you a runner? Are you a runner?
Yeah, I've done the 100 here 5 times. I've done some very long races, like Coast to Kosciuszko. I'm an anaesthetic nurse. I live in Sydney. But yeah, this is my home. My brother actually died when I was doing my first 100K up here, and that was 16 years ago yesterday. Wow. So I come up here every year, and I'm with all my friends, and I love the group that organised the whole thing, so I'm a lucky girl.
Well, we're lucky to have you. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
I wish this was actually a visual medium, because we are seeing some absolute scenes out on San Rafael Drive, start of the 50K.
Tell you what we're going to do, Matt. We're going to take a picture here with you and me.
All right, we'll do that. But who am I talking to?
Mick Marshall.
Mick, is this your first time running the UTA 50?
First time at UTA 50, yes.
And if I may ask, I noticed you've got quite a, not unconventional, but like you're using almost off-road crutches. Yeah. What's happening?
Yeah, about 4 years ago I slipped and fell off the top of a wind turbine, from inside a wind turbine, 120 metres up in the air, and my legs got caught in the ladder, which saved me, but it actually mangled my legs. I've had 2 total foot recos, 2 ankles, 2 of my heels both cut and put back together to straighten my legs up, and left leg snapped and healed. So I got lots of nuts and bolts in these legs, and the journey's been long, but before this I was a handy endurance athlete, I guess. I used to rip around the world and do a lot of desert running and things like that, and tackled races 100 Ks and 250, and found that was my space.
Righto.
Yeah, that was my freedom. That was where I could get the monkey off my back and feel good. And ever since the accident, I've learned how to walk 3 times again. And so all this gear has helped me to learn how to walk again. And it's been a hell of a journey. I've got a lot of people on my side, lots of surgeons, physios, psychologists. It's been a real journey, both body, mind and soul, so to speak. And to get these nuts and bolts moving the way they are now, to get me back to running, that was always my dream. And that's what got me out of bed in the morning, which is very difficult to do when you're in deep, dark places, especially when, I couldn't walk again, and I lost everything that I had. I lost my job as well, and I was going through litigation, and it was a terrible journey. And I've been involved in a few podcasts. I've got some great sponsors. Ultra used to sponsor me prior to my accident,
Right.
and they kept. I remember one day I rang them up and I said, I can't do anything for you anymore. I'm all banged up, and they kept me on in the Ultra crew team, and Ultra Red team it was back then.
Yep.
But they kept me on because they said, we think you're going to get back. And that was the one thing that sort of sparked me, and gave me a project, I guess, and that, and now they're with me now, sponsoring me, and this is part of a course. I've actually 3 weeks ago I broke the world record for the fastest bloke on crutches. So fastest marathon on crutches. I first broke it for my class or category in Melbourne Marathon in October last year, and in 6:37, and then in my hometown of Ballarat I broke it for any class. It's anyone can get a pair of crutches and go and do it.
Right.
And I ran it in 5:50. So, and that's all part of a journey for me to get to UTMB. So, as an adaptive athlete and represent Australia, it's a dream. It's been a dream for me even before my accident, and I didn't quite think I'd be trying to get there like this, but you know what? Does it really matter? I've let go of a lot of stuff, and winning isn't everything. Participation's huge, and connecting with people and finding your space. And this is just my space, whether I'm on crutches or in a wheelchair or bloody abled and running it as quick as I bloody can, or the views are all the same, mate.
And the views are all the same. Look, yeah. Mick, anyone listening to this, I think I would sully that conversation with trying to put any sort of editorial spin on it. So, Mick, we'll just leave it there and have an amazing day.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Right, still out on the UTA 50 course, and who am I speaking with? You're speaking to Harry?
Jess.
And do you two know each other?
Father and daughter.
My dad.
Fantastic. Have you done... Oh, wow, that is super special. First time here?
Well, it's the first time in this event, but I've done a lot of running around here just for fun. So.
Yeah, my first time.
And is it we've had some familial competitions in the UTA 11 and the 50. Is this a kumbaya or is this a ding-dong? Are you guys in it to win it, or are you doing it? All right, okay.
Yeah, we have.
Definitely kumbaya.
Yeah, I've been bullied into doing it by my brother and my mum. And so I have to finish it, otherwise I will be the shame of the family.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they ring the shame bell. All right, well, look, have an amazing day, and we will see you at the finish.
Yeah, good luck with your podcast, mate. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good one.
We're at the Fairmont, and it's absolute scenes, and I'm here with...
I'm Emma, hello.
And what's your role?
I am a marketing coordinator for the Oceania team.
And I'm here with...
And Nick, Global Partnerships for Ironman Group.
It's been absolute scenes here today. How does this compare, Nick? You've been around the traps. This is your job. How's this year's UTA compare?
Oh, epic. I mean, UTA every year is one of those bucket list calendar events, but adding a miler and a major this year has just amplified this something crazy. Just huge. The vibes have been big. An extra day chasing runners around the bush with the miler, and the sun came out for race day. So the rest of the world watching at home get to see what the Blue Mountains is all about.
Yeah, I don't know what you did to get the good weather, but we'll take it. Emma, this is your first time here is doing the media stuff. How's it going?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been such a great experience. There's so many lovely runners. Like you said, we are so lucky with the weather today. Couldn't be better, and I think it's a perfect little booster for our miler athletes to kick off the morning with nice sunrise, blue sky. It's getting a bit warmer, so yeah, vibes are on here at Fairmont, and yeah, we're stoked to be here.
So am I, because I'm going to go put my feet up before my shift. But look, thank you both. And look, it's for those listening at home, there's about, I don't know, 1 million people here and everyone's stoked, sun's shining. And thanks both for being out.
Have a great rest of your run and we'll see you later.
Oh no, I'm going to bed.
So Sebastian, you did the UTA 1K for Kids race. How was it?
Good. How was it?
It was
Good.
good. I ran really
Fast.
through the...
Blue Mountains.
Well, kia ora koutou, everyone. Welcome to the second of our Hoka Ultra Trail by UTMB / Dirt Church Radio Q&As. My name's Matt Raymond.
I'm Ali Pottinger.
Look, yesterday I asked you, Ali, how good it is to be back in the Blue Mountains, and we answered that question. The answer was real good. How good were you were at both the start lines this morning. How good were the UTA Miler and UTA 22 starts this morning?
Yeah, that UTA Miler start was special. That is obviously the inaugural event, and seeing those people off who probably don't fully know what they're in for, but everyone they were pretty chill, they were pretty happy and ready to rock and roll. So it was cool to see. And being a major, there was a next level kind of on the start line with the gold sparkles and gas and stuff. It was quite fantastic.
Yeah, pyrotechnics will add a degree of grandeur to most situations.
Yeah. And then the 22K start, fun. There were some cool groups of people.
Yeah, we talked about it being like the mullet business at the front, party at the back, but it kind of wasn't. It was kind of like an odd haircut. There were some pockets of business and some pockets of party spread right throughout the waves.
There certainly was.
And there was, around 2,600 people, so it was hours and hours of fun, and everyone was in good humour. And
yeah, can't wait to see how the rest of the weekend goes. It's going to be good.
Yeah, super excited. But look, today we're here to talk to some of the leading lights in the 100 and the 50K events, UTA 50 and UTA 100. We're going to be speaking to Dan Jones, Caitlin Fielder. We'll be speaking to Beth McKenzie, George Murray, and Lucy Bartholomew.
Yeah, Lucy Bartholomew. Yeah.
So look, why don't we change it up a little bit? Because
I can see George Murray in the crowd. He looks like he's ready for a yarn. Actually, he's mid-yarn. But I reckon we get him up to the stage, hey? Yeah. George Murray, would you like to join us? So, George Murray won the UTA 100 in 2023. He's back to have a chat with us.
G'day.
Hey, George.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, man. Hey, look, you really took the UTA 100 by the scruff of the neck in 2023 and gave it a good shake, and you got the win. How are you feeling about this year's event?
This season, a little unsure. Had a bit of a break from running, got back into things pretty good. I've had a pretty good training block, experimented some different things, a bit of lower mileage, a bit more speed work, and focusing on nutrition out there. So, a bit of an experiment race, and we'll see how it all comes together tomorrow.
Ooh. Sounds interesting, George. And being a major, has it changed how you've approached it?
Seeing the start line is pretty cool. Across all the races is nice. So a bit more sort of pressure, I guess. It's nice to have, I guess, the top 10 get the UTMB entry, which is taking a bit of pressure off the top 3.
Yeah? Is that what you're after?
Yeah, when I saw it was available, I was like, I'll take it. Yep, that'll be a possibility. I think this might be my only chance to get it for 2026.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to make sure I finish in top 10.
Okay, cool. We'll be keeping our eyes on that finish line for you.
And with your training, I mean, we spoke last time we spoke to you on Dirt Church Radio. You know, you have some fairly unique, I wouldn't say restrictions, but structure to your training because of your job at the time. You know, was periods of time on, periods of time off. Is that still happening for you?
Yeah, still got the same sort of structure, still in the mines. So still have a sort of lower mileage speed work week, and then my week off. Last time I was talking to you, I think on my week off, I would make up a lot of high mileage, but that led to a lot of burnout. So I pulled a bit back on the mileage on my weeks off, but still sort of same structure.
And how is it where you live in terms of are you getting much specificity for the UTMB? I mean, it's notoriously hilly and stairs and all that. What's the specificity like?
The last year I've moved into a new place called Rockhampton up in Queensland. So that's got quite a big hill. It's been really good for training. I've had a good variety of hills, really rocky stuff, lots of hiking. I've got lots of hiking in the legs, which is nice. When I first started doing that, after a few days hiking, my legs were pretty burnt out, but now they're getting pretty strong, which I think might help on the trails out there.
What's your favourite part of this course, George?
My favourite part is probably the worst part as well, probably the finish. Just the big climb all the way up to the finish line is pretty brutal, but that's sort of what makes the race as well. A bit of fear sort of lingering on the shoulder, but once you've made it to the finish line, it's a nice feeling, but it's a horrible feeling at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally can appreciate because I see you guys finishing. And also over the years, we've seen positions change on further stairs. And, you know, that would be an awful place to feel like you've got to put the hammer down.
Yeah, I think that happened the year when I won it. That was with Mike Kroll. I think we were racing down the hill, and there was a battle in the end. And, yeah, there's nothing worse than sort of battling of those sort of last hill climb. But you got the big downhill to burn your legs out from Queen Victoria. So it sort of burns your legs on the way down, then you got to burn your legs on the way up. So, yeah, it's a real challenge.
How close was it on the further stairs between you and Mike Kroll?
I think we got to the last aid station and he sort of took off. He left me. I was pretty satisfied with second, and then he burnt out a bit. It was a bit of a battle in between, but yeah, and the worst thing, you don't really know how long someone's behind you as well when you're charging up the steps.
What's going through? How are you managing that? How are you keeping in control? Can you keep in control?
Yeah, I guess that's the question. That's part of my main goal as well, is to make sure I do have enough in the tank to be able to push on the last 20k. That's sort of a goal this year. So I'm not fighting for survival in the last 20. So we'll see if that sort of helps. Don't know if there's a game plan that's possible, but we'll try it.
I love it. In the notes, Matt's got Ali, my brain is mush, and he's on point because it's actually my brain is mush now after a mile at start. But with the addition of the mile, I thought we might actually see you on that start line. Not keen yet?
I would have loved to be on the miler. I have UTMB coming up as well, so I thought it could be a little bit wiser to just do the 100.
I like that you say just.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to say that now too. Just to save a bit more in the tank. But yeah, the 100 mile would be definitely pretty cool. It'd be a tough course out there today with the wet. So I've struggled a bit with the milers as well. I'm not too sure if that's my body or just not used to the distance yet. But yeah, so I'll keep it a bit more safe with the 100k.
Oh, well, we'll look forward to seeing how you go tomorrow and also at UTMB.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, just one more question. What's, you've been here, you've ripped it up. What's your favourite part of the course?
Favourite part? I guess the favourite part is probably the views. I guess it's a bit of everything. I like how it's got some nice flow parts and then the technical aspects as well. I'm not too sure if there's a specific part, but you guys are just being in the nature, I guess. All the steps, get deep into the forest. It's just sort of cool out there, I guess.
Yeah, chopping through that cloud tomorrow is going to be pretty cool, going down the valley.
Yeah, it's going to bring a bit of a different atmosphere. I think what's nice as well is it's nature, so this course is always changing. So although you're running the same course as last year, we're going to be running a different course, and I think that's all the beauty about trail running is never really running the same thing.
Awesome. Well, look, George, we'll let you get off your feet. I hope you get some rest and, smooth trails tomorrow, and I hope it goes well for you. But look, everyone here, please put your hands together for George Murray.
Thank you.
Thanks, George. Can we have Beth McKenzie to the stage now, please? So, she is the current UTA 100 champion. She's had an incredible second and third at Tarawera 100K. It is Beth McKenzie.
Hi. It's nice to hear your voice, Allie.
Oh, thank you.
But I like hearing it better across the finish line.
I bet you do. Yesterday someone came up to me and said, "Oh, Allie, it reminds me of a podium when I hear your voice." And I was like, "Oh, that's a nice thing."
Beth McKenzie. I'm like, if I get that again, I'll be so happy.
Okay, we'll aim for it, shall we?
Okay, good. I love that.
I mean, on that, you had the most incredible UTA win last year at the 100. What are you hoping to get out of the day tomorrow?
Oh, okay. So tomorrow, this year I brought my family. They're right out here. There's my 2 daughters and my husband. And so primarily I need to cross the finish line because I'm not going to let them all down after making the big trip here to the Blue Mountains. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to win again. I don't know if I'm being delusional because I haven't had the best prep, but I still feel really fit and feel like I could if I have the day I'm capable of.
Yeah, so kind of following up on that, you've been very open on social media about the challenges that you've faced with body image, which is funny because, like, I remember speaking after your win last year and being like, that finishing video was incredible. Like, it just showcased a strong woman and the fanfare of your win. But then reading what you actually felt about it, I was like, oh, wow, these 2 different perspectives. Yeah, so what would you say to someone who's been feeling a bit haunted by body image?
It's interesting because in trail running and in sport, you meet so many super, super strong women, super inspiring women. And when we look at each other, all we see is that strength.
Yes.
But then when you look at yourself, you see, there's a few dimples there. This is rubbing together here. And, you really realize you're your own worst critic. Mm-hmm. When I saw myself going up the stairs with, bunch of cellulite on my legs and stuff, winning the race last year, I didn't post the video because I was like, oh my God, look at my legs. And then I'm like, wait a second, you know what? That is like the epitome of strength, right? Sometimes it's just the strength within, but it's just, and I know I'm so fit, and 99% of women my age probably aren't that fit, and I should be really confident in that. And so I'm just trying to work on that more and be, and a good role model for that to my kids.
With that, your lead up to UTA hasn't been all smooth. I mean, how are you feeling about going tomorrow? You've had to suffered a stress reaction. How's the recovery from that gone?
Yeah, so February, I did Tarawera 100K, and that was amazing. And I thought I recovered really well from that, but then a few weeks later, I found out I had a stress reaction in one of my tibias and a stress fracture in my other tibia. And that was only about 6-8 weeks ago, so I had to take a really big chunk off of running. Luckily or not luckily, I think I probably had the stress fractures and reactions for a few weeks before getting the imaging, so I think I was already sort of on the way to healing, and they healed really quickly. I do focus a lot on recovery, but also I haven't gotten another scan yet, so maybe just ignorance is bliss. I don't know, but I've got no pain at all, and I've been able to string together like 2 to 3 weeks of running. So yeah, that's not very much. I have missed a lot of the, one thing I think is really important going into a big long race like this is really conditioning your quads for the downhills, all the eccentric contractions, and I haven't been able to really just pound through a bunch of downhill. So I am a little bit worried about that, but we do a lot of cross training, and I've been doing a lot of eccentric training in the gym. Got in one little sort of race prep thing, which was good. So I still feel very promising about it. I am a former triathlete, so cross-training to me was not daunting. I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't run. I was like, look at all these things I can do. And I did tons of walking up and down stairs, 500K a week on the bike. Like, I was smashing it in everything but running, and I think you never know. It could pay off. I might be delusional, though.
I was about to say that. It sounds like really great advice for people to take on board when they're, but maybe not 500Ks for your average Joe blocks, but cross-training and that approach is brilliant.
Yeah.
And a good way to look at it too, right? Like doing what you can do.
Right. and my husband, Luke, he's really into high rocks. I don't know how many of the trail running people have heard of high rocks, but we're training for a high rocks together right now. So I think he was secretly not happy I was injured, but happy that I could do a lot more high rocks training with him, just not the run part. So we did a lot more strength training in the gym, did a lot of like ski erg and rower and things I don't normally do. And I think it made me overall stronger. We'll see what that looks like tomorrow. I'm not sure. I think I'll be good for at least 60 or 80K, and then we'll see. I hope.
Hey, you've been open about middle age and you're privileged to be racing at this level. Where do you see the sport taking you in the future? Or more aptly, where will you take the sport in the future?
I've had a renewed sort of sense of vibrant life energy since discovering trail running a few years ago. Not discovering, actually. I was a trail runner before I was ever a triathlete. I used to do some Southern California trail series back in 2007, 2008, before I even owned a bike. So I was into trail running, just not ultra trail running. But it's, being very, very smack in the middle of middle aged is really interesting because I really don't feel it. I think that running really keeps me young. Just don't ask my bones. But mentally, I feel like I'm 30. When I get out there, I'm not thinking about, oh, this woman's so young, this people, anything. I'm just thinking about what I can do. And I love more women, especially who are moms and think that, life's sort of over. You can't focus on your own goals once you do have kids, to do that more and to know that, you're not done yet until you want to be done.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I guess for many people, motherhood, parenthood, I mean, you're just getting started, really, isn't it? It's a different phase.
Yeah, I mean, my job tomorrow is probably easier than Luke's job with these two monkeys running around. Oh, you're the cutest monkey.
You got the look.
Cutest kid.
You got the nod, the knowing nod. Hey, Beth, also, we asked George, I'll ask you as well, because it is really important to highlight the course itself, because it's the country that we're running on, that we're running through. What's the part of the course that is your favourite?
Well, coming here last year, I'd never been to the Blue Mountains before. So first, it's just a privilege to run on the Gundungurra country, right? Is that right? Okay. And to really just experience the land. And I just love to, when I first get here, go see a new trail I haven't seen, look at a new vista. And the beauty here is really awe-inspiring. I made a joke yesterday about the Grand Canyon that we went to because I'm American and we have another Grand Canyon. But, I have to say the Aussie version is just as, if not more beautiful. So it was great. Yeah, I can't wait to go out and see some of my favorite parts of the course again tomorrow. I think it's rare to be able to see them, and to see them all in one day is like mind-boggling. So, yeah, I'm really excited. My favorite part actually was just the beginning, because I wasn't expecting Narrow Neck Road to be so jaw-dropping, and
it's beautiful.
I got out my phone and took 2 videos last year because I was like, I can't believe this. This is insane. So, yeah, no videos this year.
It's just there, isn't it? It's just at the end of a cul-de-sac.
I know. I had no idea.
It's like a jungle and a canyon had a baby. And then
exactly. That's not the first birth reference I've had or made or been a part of today, so that's good.
Cool.
Sorry.
No, it's part of it. So, okay, and for someone who is, I guess, words of wisdom or lessons learned for someone who is, you've been in sport at a high level for a long time, and now you are, you're ripping out on the trails. For someone who's lining up tomorrow for their first trail race, their first ultra marathon, their first 50 or their first 100, any wise words, any words of advice?
One of my favorite parts about ultra racing is the problem solving. And I think if you go into it knowing that you're doing a race, but you have to solve the problems along the way, is really helpful. So you can have your best laid plan, but plan for things to go wrong. This is actually where the birth reference came in, because I was talking just in an interview about, when you have a baby, you might go in there with a birth plan.
Yep.
But does the birth plan ever go according to plan?
I don't know.
No, it doesn't. So, you have to be willing to problem solve along the way, make adjustments, do whatever you can at that moment
I
to
love
just
that your
keep going
daughter's
forward.
T-shirt's got everything hurts on
I know.
it.
Is that
the
the
irony
cutest
is
thing you've
not
ever
lost on
seen?
me.
The irony is nothing hurts on that kid because she's a kid.
So, for anyone who can't see, my daughter's T-shirt says "Everything hurts," and she's just smiling. But anyway, yeah, she's one of the birth plans that didn't go according to plan. But I sort of think that in every ultra marathon that I start, I know things are going to go wrong, but it's how I solve them, and then I actually get great joy and satisfaction from that at the end of the day. Yeah,
it's good celebrating the wins along the way.
Yeah, but just also, life doesn't go according to plan, and what are you going to do when it doesn't?
Yeah, so you be proud of how you problem solve.
Yeah, so yeah, do that tomorrow.
Wise words indeed. Look, Beth, thank you so much for joining us
you.
up here. And please, everyone, give a warm Blue Mountains thank you for Beth McKenzie.
Thanks, guys.
Storming up. Here we go. Whakatane's favourite son.
He doesn't even need to be asked. He's like, I'm here.
All right, we established that this man is Whakatane's favourite son. If you don't know where Whakatane is, you're missing out. Runs for Adidas Terex, current 3-time champion at Tarawera, 6 times Kepler champion, and 2 times Western States top 10 finisher with a 5th place in 2023 and 4th in 2024. Dan Jones, welcome back. How are you feeling?
Well, first time here at UTA. So excited to be here, and actually the sun will be nice if it comes out, and it looks like it might this afternoon. Get some views. I've heard great things.
Being a Whakatane boy with the beautiful Toys track as your local, you won't be a stranger to stairs, but are you ready for the sheer volume that the Blue Mountains will throw at you?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't actually live in Whakatane anymore, so a bit of a lack of stairs in Wellington, although very hilly.
Yeah.
We've got some good trails, and there are some, like if I drive out half an hour, I can get some good stairs in. So I've visited that spot in preparation for this, so that, I'm not too bombarded with what's to come tomorrow.
You were a bit of a late entry, but obviously you've kind of had it on your radar if you've been doing the stairs. What took you so long to sign up?
No, there was just like a bit of a lack of communication, I think. Probably on my side of things, but also maybe I was just waiting for an email to get sent through to just actually put my name down on that registration list.
Okay.
So I had actually planned to come along here after Tarawera. Well, actually, I raced over in the States, Lake Sonoma, did a trail marathon there, and I came home. And even before then, I'd planned to come to UTA to use this and, have a great experience and also use it in my build-up to Western States coming up.
We caught up yesterday, and, it's odd that I've run a place more than you have, and you were like, hey, bro, where should I go for a run? And send you up. What first impressions? What struck you?
Yeah, there's just not a place here where you're finding many flats. I was actually finished my run trying to find a spot to do some strides. And I was like, this place here is about 50 metres flat. I can use that. But no, it's pretty, it's beautiful. And I'm sure when the cloud lifts and can see some views as well, that'll be nice. But yeah, it just feels really like Australian here. Like the trees, the dirt roads, the kind of muddy dirt. Yeah, very Australian.
This is totally not a running related question, but I'm sure lots of people listening or watching would have been watching Alone Australia. Is that your buddy Shay on there?
Oh, yeah. I heard he ate a lot of worms.
He's eaten so many worms.
Have you got a friend on like one of those they put you out in the bush by yourself shows?
Yeah, that's what he was on.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Shay was on Alone. And you got to follow this guy's YouTube channel. What is it called?
I don't even know. It's probably something to do with trapping, isn't it?
Something out wild. But yeah, like he's just a real Kiwi bushman, and he goes out, like hunts his own meat. I think he just lived off the land for about a month one time, just out there, eating ferns and fern roots, and he made a bow and arrow, getting deer. He's a legend. So I don't know the result of that Alone show yet, but
Me either.
It'll be one to check in. I think I'll binge that when I'm over in the States or something.
I figured that you must know him because Kerry, when we started watching it, said, "Hey, I used to race him," and I thought, I bet Dan used to race him too.
The guys, Kiwi whakatane legend as well in that area, and he knows so much about the NZ outdoors, so it's really cool. You just learn a lot watching his YouTube. This is like a real promotion. And his Terek's are great too. No, but shade. No. Anyway, it's good.
Speaking of Adidas Terex, let's leave the worm eating behind. But from here, are you off to the States and begin your build up to Western?
Yeah, I guess the Western States build, well, the race is actually about 5 or 6 weeks away now. It's at the end of June. So I've had a really good block in Wellington leading into this race. So about 3 weeks of really hard training. And we'll just see where we're at tomorrow. Hopefully I feel strong and just come out of it strong. No sliding over on these slippery steps. And we can just bounce off that. Do a training block, the Memorial Weekend training camp over in Auburn next weekend. Ooh. So that'll be really cool to check out the course again because it's been a year. And then, we'll head over to Cedar City, do a bit of altitude training up there for a couple of weeks with Hayden, and then drop back down to Olympic Valley for the race.
You've come fifth and fourth. What expectations going into this year? It's your third time. What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, so I should know that course pretty well by now and know the effort levels required. I was right up there in pretty good position last year. I just want to hopefully just have a real good, well-rounded race where I can put myself at the pointy end of the field. And, if that happens, then anyone could win. It's going to be a super competitive field. If anyone's following the race, it's just got the best of the best in the ultra scene.
Everyone's following the race, dude. Come on.
It's Western
States. Oh, trail fans out there. So I'll just see what happens.
Is there anything that you felt like needed a bit of work from Western that you'll apply to tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a longer race, but it also requires you to start within yourself, and I think that's going to be important tomorrow with some of the sections like midway and then towards the end of the course where your quads get banged up and then you've still got to run out of that situation and you've got some big hills after that. So I think with this course you've got to have to almost control the effort and then take a read on how you're feeling at least halfway through, and then if you can push on from there, push on. I don't actually even know the course properly, so what am I talking about? I don't know.
It's likely to be a bit of a spicy start tomorrow. What do you prefer? Do you prefer a spicy start, or do you prefer to kind of... you're going to be going out hot, but I guess there's a bell curve between hot and nuclear, and do you prefer full nuke or build into your day?
Yeah. Just easy. A real comfortable start, please. But in all honesty, with this, running out on the road tomorrow for the first 3 or 4K out and back, then it's going to be fast, and it's just about trying to be controlled and even using some of the flatter sections to get comfortable again before the pinchy uphills, or maybe if someone tries to go on the pinchy uphills, letting it go and then just catching back up on sections where you feel like you're a bit more controlled. That's what I'd recommend and what I'll probably do.
And what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
It's another good race. I've never been here. I've never experienced this race, and I know that from what I've seen, I've read, the atmosphere over here at UTA is huge, and I'm sure we'll just get a lot of the community support out there. The racing will be tough, so I'll be certainly looking forward to the final stretches where you can just celebrate it all and just know that you've left it all out there and hopefully had a good race. Yeah, and just celebrate with, my parents are over. Michelle's here supporting me. My parents aren't even here just yet, but they'll make it over to Katoomba. And it'll be cool to celebrate with everyone.
Incredible, Dan. Look, one of the things we know about you, your enthusiasm for the sport, for the racing itself, it's so infectious, it's authentic. We wish you all the best for tomorrow. We're not biased, are we, Ali?
Yeah, we are.
We're biased. Yeah, no, we're biased. We're backing our boy Dan. But look, amazing. Thank you so much. And, all the best for your build to Western, and just just very, very excited to see how you go. Thanks, bro. Put your hands together for Dan Jones and give us a backup mic.
And we got Caitlin Fielder nearby. I mean, it's hard, right? You say we're not biased, but we kind of are biased.
It's hard not to be biased. I mean, I remember, if I may share a Dan Jones story, Eugene and I it's a good one. Eugene and I ran into Dan. I think it was after his 5th Kepler win on the trot, and we ran into him at the Tiano Dairy. And he was getting like a fried banana or something like that, like for dessert, like he was having dessert. And he was so sheepish about it. We're like, dude, you can eat whatever you want. Like you have our permission. But keeps it so real and it's so incredible. Ellie, you have been doing this for a long time. What year is this coming to UTA for you?
I think 2016 was my first year coming to UTA. So, yeah.
9 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah. What do you notice about it? I've been coming for 4 years. You've been like twice as long as me and then changed. So what have you noticed about the progression of the race, the progression of the culture, all of that?
I mean, the sheer size of the number of entrants has grown over the years. So that's one definite change. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, you see now, this is going to make me sound old, but you've seen the rise of, like the photos and videos and selfie cams and stuff like that on the start line. So much more.
Selfie cams?
I don't know what they're called. I'm really showing my age now.
They're called phones.
Look, I woke up at 2 a.m. for the miler start, okay? So just forgive me if I'm using some Nana talk. All right?
Forgive you.
Oh, my goodness. A selfie cam.
I'll just get my selfie cam. Hang on, it's ringing.
I'll get my selfie cam out. Well, either way.
Look, no, there was a lot of that though, right? And I guess especially coming through the last 5 years globally, it's that thing when we started in trail running, like, our friends passing around like a pirated DVD copy of Unbreakable, the Western States story. And now, you're right, everyone's got access to so much media. Phones are ubiquitous. And we're on the start line today, and there were so many selfies getting thrown down.
There was also, this is my funny story from this morning. We were going out for high fives at the, people off the start line, and our photographers and media team managed to catch videos of me being denied high fives, and then the look on my face, and I was like, oh no, there's multiple videos now of this happening. So yeah, things have changed, I guess, in that front too, like with media and that sort of stuff around the race. But it's great because it's important for that visibility too, for people to be able to see themselves. And yeah, so lots of changes.
Lots of changes. And look, we would like to welcome our last guest up to the stage. Again, someone we're totally unbiased about.
Totally unbiased.
Totally unbiased.
She is an Adidas T-Rex Pro. She's Rotorua's finest, who continues to stamp her mark on the global trail running scene with a string of incredible results like Grand Trail des Templiers, 3 times Tarawera 50k victories, 5th at OCC last year. She was 2nd at Tarawera Ultra 102k. Give it up for all-round good sort, Caitlin Fielder.
Oh, come on, guys. You can do it. Yeah. Okay, Caitlin, we promise no speed dating questions.
Yeah, my God. Traumatised from Tarawera.
Matt did actually have a question for you.
100 Caitlin Fielders, 1 gorilla who wins.
Yeah, actually, I was listening to, is it Robert Irwin, who was talking about the gorillas? I saw his little go through with the gorillas and how he's saying that usually a gorilla is actually pretty calm, and it's only when you rile them up that they'll actually start going for you. So I feel like we could lull the gorilla into a sense of like calmness, and then I'd be all over it.
All 100 of you.
Yeah, all 100 of me.
You sit down, you're like, hey, let's paint some shoes together.
Yeah. Little back massage.
And then,
I have to ask, are you following him for gorilla tips or thirst trap photos?
Oh, yeah, both. The haircut.
My oldest daughter was fully, we travelled past Australia Zoo, and we were going down to watch a game of rugby league, and we had one of her friends in the car, and they were both basically like, yeah, we've planned this out. We're going to Australia Zoo with the
intention
of
Yeah. He's a good-looking man.
He is.
All right, that's enough speed dating questions.
My selfie camera stopped working, so you're going to...
Oh, my goodness. How has your lead up to UTA gone, Caitlin?
I felt like I was in really good shape racing Tarawera. And then after Tarawera, I had a few foot issues that I haven't really encountered before. So that was, I'd say that was a little bit of a handbrake on my preparation in terms of running. But I pivoted a bit and spent quite a lot of time on the bike instead. So I ride quite a lot anyway. But obviously running is kind of what I would rather be doing. But the last 3 weeks has been going pretty well. But in reality, I still don't really know how my fitness is. So tomorrow will just be a bit of a reality check, I'd say, in terms of the fitness, and we'll see how it goes.
Because what else is on the radar after this for you?
Yeah, I'm hoping for Western States, which is end of June. So I got the golden ticket in Tarawera 100. So, I accepted it there, and it's a bit of a daunting distance, I would say, especially since I haven't done 100 miles before. But yeah, in the end, you just break it down, and I think if it's possible for me to go there and compete as well as I can, then I'll be there.
You, speaking of Tarawera, you got dubbed the mountain lion by Ruth Croft at Tarawera because you really were. She said, when I interviewed her at the finish line, she said, Caitlin was just on the scruff of my neck all day. She was just there, like, kind of 5 meters behind, like, hunting me down. So you've obviously...
Is that shade, though? Is she calling you a cougar?
Yeah, I'd be honoured if Ruth called me a cougar, to be honest. So I'll take that and run with it.
Would you, thinking about that, was that your dream day, or would you prefer to lead from the front, or do you want to be hunting from the back?
I always tend to lead my races. We have a saying in Catalan, so I live in Europe, and we have a saying there, and it's start like a horse and finish like a donkey. But I prefer to start like a donkey and finish like a horse. So I would much rather be hunting people than being hunted. I'm a lot more uncomfortable, I'd say, being hunted down. But it was a great race for me, but I did experience some stomach issues along the way, which obviously I'd prefer not to experience again, but you get that on the big jobs. So just kind of kept going with the food and everything, and it worked out pretty well in the end still. But obviously next time I'd choose to skip those if possible.
Fair call. I would too.
100%. What are you most looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, actually, I haven't ran with a headlight in a while, so I feel like that'll be pretty fun, just racing with a torch. But my eyesight is less than ideal, so I'm hoping the fog will go because I see some issues coming my way if I'm running with a head torch and it's super foggy. But apparently there's the Darkness actually has an amazing video clip for their
Hordens Rock
a feeling, and it's with the Blue Mountains, and so I'm picturing myself just
Lincoln's Rock
refilming that music video really out there. So hopefully it's fine enough for me to experience what they have going on in that film clip.
You should definitely go out there for a look today too. It's beautiful.
It's crazy.
Off Horden Road, Lincoln's Rock. It's epic.
Really? Okay, I'll be there.
But I think we've got a good theme song for your day anyway.
Yeah.
What would it mean to have a win in Australia?
Yeah, actually, I've never raced here before, which is pretty crazy given how many races I've done, like in Europe. But it's always amazing to be able to win a race. But I feel like it's more the sensations that you have during a race. Like, I've had races that I've been incredibly proud of, and I haven't been at the top of the podium at the end of it. So I think people can see winning as the end of the line, really. But I think there's so much more that goes into it than that. So if I just have a good day out there and I feel well and feel like I pace it as well as I can, then I will be content.
And is this kind of a bit of a checkpoint in the build to Western States? Like, is that what you're hoping to get from your day, just to really apply everything well and feel good, or what's the goal?
Yeah, definitely. I think racing always gives you a very realistic idea of where you're at in terms of your fitness, and I think you can't always get that through training. So I think it will give me a very good idea of where I'm at, like a checkpoint for Western States. It's obviously a very different course than Western States, but in the end, you kind of fitness is fitness, I think, and you kind of can know where you're at.
And for you, are you straight over to the States? Are you back to Europe or after here, building up?
Yeah, I'm actually flying out tomorrow night back to Europe. So it's a bit of a flying visit. I got here last night and I'll be on the 8 o'clock flight to Dubai, and then Dubai to Barcelona, and then a 5-hour bus trip. So I think the race is just the start of tomorrow and the next few days travel, but think of me.
It's a big endurance event, Caitlin.
Have me in your thoughts, because I will need it.
There'll be people like finishing the miler and you'll be in Dubai. Yeah. Nearly.
Yeah. We'll see. The real race is who gets there first.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting, Caitlin. All the best for tomorrow. We are unbiasedly cheering for you. Can we give a big round of applause, please, for Caitlin Fielder? Yay!
All right, everyone. Well, look, thank you so much for coming up. And it's nice that you've brought the nice weather. You and Dan, like the clouds are cleared a little bit. That's awesome. If you're racing tomorrow, have a safe time. Have a wonderful time. And like Caitlin said, your time on the clock, your place in the field isn't commensurate with personal growth or a worth of experience. So take what the day gives you, take what the country gives you, enjoy yourselves. You have our thoughts with you. We will look forward to seeing you on the finish line, and please take care, and thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Just go to Katoomba, go to the Blue Mountains, please. This isn't a pitch for Ultra Trail Australia. I mean, it is a pitch for Ultra Trail Australia because they rule and that race rules, but go to Katoomba, check out one of the amazing coffee shops, the kebab place, the Mountain Culture Brewing. Go to Echo Point, have a look, go for a walk, go for a run, do something, but just go to the Blue Mountains because it's fantastic. Thus ended the lesson. Thank you very much for tuning in. Dirt Church Radio is presented by me, Matt Raymond, and my cousins, Ellie Pottinger and Andrew McDowell. We're on all the podcast platforms, so like, follow, and give us a rating. It really helps. We're on social media at Dirt Church Radio. You can email us at dirtchurchradio@gmail.com. Now, don't forget to sign up to our Substack for weekly newsletter and Aid Station podcast, which is coming next week. Don't forget to write in with your greatest run ever. We'd love to hear from you, and you can read them out on the website too. And we get a little bit low in the tank, so please, please, please send them in. Thanks to our supporters, Further Faster, check out their live sale. That's it, Squadron and our Substack subscribers in the DCR Aid Station crew. Stay tuned for our show in 2 weeks when we have another great guest lined up. Mate wā.